Hi, my name is Bobby and I'm working with Twire, an expert partner of Appspotr. This is the second video of 5 in the video tutorials on how to get started with Appspotr. In this video, we are going to take a look at patchworks, menus, styles, and events. Let's start with logging into the system. And here we open up the new gallery app that we created in the last video. As you can see, I got the example app open on the right side, but let's start with opening up the preview in a new window and putting it on top of the example app so we got it easily accessible throughout this tutorial. Let's start with taking a look at the button and the connected events. If we click the button right now, as you can see, nothing happens. But if we click the button on the example app, it navigates. How would we achieve this? Let's go to the patchwork and have a look at how things are connected. As you might remember from the previous video, we pulled the welcome patch out on the patchwork and pulled an edge to it from the menu patch in order for it to show. This is because the menu patch is by default set to be the starting point of your app. In order for us to be able to achieve the behavior of the example app, we would need to move the welcome patch in front of the menu patch and connect it to the view endpoint of the menu patch. By hooking up the onPress event of a button to the view endpoint of the menu patch, we would be able to navigate to the first view of the menu patch. So let's start out by going back to the welcome view that we created in the first video and create an event. The events are created by going to the view properties and scroll down to the outputs and then create a new output. Let's name this output on button click. And let's change the type to type event. And then press add. Next thing we need to do is to connect this onClick event to our onPress event of the button. This is done by highlighting the button, going to the component properties, scrolling down to the onPress and choose the onClick event that we just created from the dropdown. Now when that's done, all we need to do is to go back to the patchwork. And now you can see that the new endpoint that we just created with our event is showing up on our patch. So let's remove the edge in between the menu and the patch. And pull the patch in front of the menu. And connect the onClick event to the view endpoint of the menu patch. Now let's go back to our preview app and refresh. And then we try to click enter. But still nothing happens. How come? This is because the menu patch don't actually include a view by default. So what we need to do is to create this paintings view and connect the patch to the menu items in order for something to show up when we navigate to the menu. So let's go back to the views and create a new view. Let's call it paintings. Let's press create. And in the empty view, let's add a temporary text component to identify the view when we navigate to it. And now let's navigate back to the patchwork and add the new view that we just created and connect it to the menu items. There. Now let's refresh and see what happens. we got the paintings view and not the welcome view, even though we put it before the menu patch. In order to get the welcome view, we still have to do one thing. We need to move the app starting point to the welcome patch. This is done by clicking the welcome patch and then the house button of the patch settings. Now when this is done, let's go to the preview again and refresh. And now we got our welcome view. What happens if we click the enter button? It navigates just as we expected. So if we take a look at our patchwork now, it's still fairly simple. It has a welcome page, which now is our starting point. It has a menu and it has one menu item. If we compare our app now with the example app, you can see that the example app have a drawer menu. In order to get a menu to render in our app, we would need to add another view patch to our menu items. So let's head on over back to the views and create the contact view. And here, just like in the paintings view, let's add a text component to be able to identify this when we navigate to it. And now let's go back to the patchwork and add this view patch to the menu items and see what happens. There. So now let's refresh the app and click enter. And there we have it, the drawer menu. If you want to change settings of the menu, just click the menu patch, and here you can change things like the order of the menu items, like this. There are two types of menus on the menu patch, a drawer menu and a bottom tab bar menu. You can easily change the type of menu through this drop-down. And as you can see, the menu doesn't look the same even though we have a drawer menu. If we look at the example app, it has a different styling, for example a background image. And it doesn't have this green square that you find here. So in order to change this, we would have to go back to Design and Styles. And in here we can create a new style by clicking New and name it, for example, Gallery, and press Create. Now what you see is the style sheet open. In here you can set things like color, top bar, menu, a big selection of stylings that will be used throughout the app unless you override it. But in order to save ourselves some time, I will actually go back to the example app we are currently replicating and copying that style sheet into our new gallery app. So let's do that. We click the gallery app, which is the example app. We go to Styles. We click Duplicate. And let's start out with selecting the new gallery app as the target app and name this one the Gallery Copy. And there. Now we're done. Style is copied. Now let's go back to the new gallery app. Check our styles. And we got it, the gallery copy. So let's select it so it gets assigned to the app. And that's it. Now if we hit refresh, we got the new style applied to the menu, just like the gallery app that we copied it from. But there is one small difference. If you look at the icons, they still don't match. So let's do that as well. Let's go back to the patchwork and click the patch. And then you see these icons. Let's change this to draw and the other one to the card icon. And there we go. Now let's refresh again. And there we are. And that's all. Now we got an app with a drawer menu and a starter page. In the next video, we will look into datasets and how to work with them. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.